Make plans to head outside and enjoy the sights and sounds this season in your Geauga Park District.
I remind council, and you all know this, you are officers of the court. Outside of the courtroom, I may care about your opinions. In the courtroom, I don't want to hear your opinions. You are here to present evidence. You are certainly here to present arguments. You are not here to give your opinion regarding anything. I don't care if anybody's outraged. I don't care if anybody's offended. I don't care if anybody's indignant in the courtroom. You will not express that.
Did Investigator Harvey ask you or Chad Millay to testify if necessary?
Yes.
Okay. And what did the two of you tell her?
No.
And why not?
I don't want to be involved.
Okay. And why did you want to be involved?
Because I have no reason to be involved in something like this. It's not my problem. It's not my life.
Now, did there come a time when you changed your mind about that?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And why did you change your mind?
Because honestly, I don't feel as though I get it too confused. It's on my brain. I don't see Chad South as that kind of person. I do not see it possible for Chad South to commit this. Chad South was at work. How could you come all the way up here and do what he did and then come back to work on that day? It's not possible. And then I wouldn't let somebody that's innocent be here.
Now, you weren't at work that day, though. You were at the hospital.
That's correct, sir.
Okay. So, what makes you believe that Chad South was at work?
How could Chad Millay work by himself? He cannot. We're not allowed to work by ourselves. Chad South was at work on that day. If Chad was not at work on that day, he would not have been at work ever again. We have zero tolerance for that sort of thing. You don't show up my job, you're fired, period. No ifs, ands, or buts. Chad missed the day before. Therefore, if he would have missed 2 days in a row, he'd been fired. Period.
Do you have any pay records from...
No, I have nothing to back up what I'm saying whatsoever.
You don't intend to come back, right?
I will not come back. I'll be charged with contempt or whatever happens to me. I will not come back and testify in this case again.
Okay.
I'm a felon, and I am fearful of what these people are going to try to cause in my life after I leave here. I asked her on the phone 3 times yesterday. I told her that. I said, I'm scared to death of you. I'm scared if I go up there and testify, what you're going to do to me. But you're going to try to cause problems in my life. I said that to her twice, and she said absolutely nothing. And leading my brain to believe you are right. I will do something to you. And I said, see, you're not even going to tell me you won't do nothing to me, are you? Then she condescendingly says, we can't do that. I would never do nothing like that to you, Jason. I really want you to show up in court. The only crook in this room, in my opinion, has been...
Objection. Sustained. Stricken.
So, does it make sense when we see an affidavit, or when Detective Vetter sees the affidavit that talks about the issue with your son being the result of them coming to see you, that you might have some questions about that?
I assume.
Okay. And she might want to ask you a couple questions about that to try and figure out what's really going on.
I really think that's none of her business.
When you send an affidavit in saying that you're having difficulty with your son because of a visit from the Geauga County Sheriff's Office regarding Chad South's case, as the detective, don't you think it's important for her to try and figure that out?
No.
Okay. You had a discussion with the detectives that day in the car, correct?
Yes.
Which day are we at?
March 1st. Was that the only time other than yesterday you've ever spoken to Detective Vetter and Detective Lombardo?
I'm not sure.
Okay. That was the only time you ever met them, correct?
Yes, sir.
All right. And did they arrest you that day?
No, sir.
Did they tell you that they were going to charge you that day?
No, they told me to be very careful what came out of my mouth.
Okay. And did you tell them the truth that day?
Yes, sir.
And is it the same thing you testified to today?
Yes, sir.
And have you been charged with anything?
No, sir.
Okay. And you told them the same thing then that you told us today, that your baby was being born and you believe that him and Chad South and Chad Millay were at work?
Yes, sir.
Okay.